What up, Earthlings? Zube here. Today is going to be a little bit of wondering out loud, and then I'll do some astrology at the end. I kind of like that format. So this weekend, I went to Grand Junction. It was like 5 hours, 5.5 hours each way. So like 11 hours of driving to go and see Zeke, my boyfriend's favorite band. Anyway, which it was cool. But I did notice while I was driving through. So one of the things that I always missed about like the Northeast, about living in Jersey, was different colors. Because out here in Colorado, it just never struck me as very colorful. Like I love the blue skies and the mountains and all that, but it was like green. And I'm going to be like really specific, but I think maybe like 2 shades of green, like evergreen and the other green. But we were driving and I was kind of looking around at one point and I'm like, holy shit, there's like 20 shades of green over there. And then I do feel like I'm kind of cheating here. I feel like I saw somewhere that we've added green colors to our color spectrum. So there's the woo-woo news for you. I saw that. Anyway, while we were driving, I was reading Alan Watts, whom I just adore that guy. And then I'm going to tell a story, but this is like one of my favorite passages. He's just really funny. I mean, I'm sure he's not really trying to be funny, but he makes his points in funny ways, and that's my favorite. So, and he talks about Taoism and Buddhism. So, okay, here we go. But it is just when I discover that I cannot surrender myself that I am surrendered. Just when I find that I cannot accept myself, that I am accepted. For in reaching this hard rock of the impossible, one reaches insincerity. Hold on. For in reaching this hard rock of the impossible, one reaches sincerity, where there can no longer be the masked hide and seek of I and me. Good I trying to change bad me, who is really the same fellow as good I. In the expressive imagery of Zen, all this striving for self-surrender is like trying to put legs on a snake, or shall I say, like a naked man trying to lose his shirt. Like I'd have to read you the whole book, which would be too long, and maybe most people aren't into that, but it's, I love him, and I love Taoism because it's kind of like not trying, you know what I mean? But you can't try not to try because then you're still trying, right? That's, why Buddhists are famous for like the puzzles that make you wonder, and you kind of like get to this point where you're surrendered. You don't surrender. Like I've surrendered things. Actually, one of my favorite memes, whoever invented memes should go to heaven if there's a heaven. But one of my favorite memes is like, it's a guy looking around the corner and he's like, hey, God, just checking on that thing I let go to give to you. You can't really surrender. Like you just are surrendered. But it is through this complicated journey of trying to surrender, right? So the whole thing I got from it was give yourself some grace. And so I did. But anyway, 5-hour drive. It was a really beautiful drive. And I was reading that book and I was just feeling good. Going to the concert. And I actually enjoy going to concerts, and I sort of enjoy being the sober driver, and I like music and all of that. And the lead singer of Reckless Kelly is super hot, so that's cool too. But anyway, so we're watching this band, And I'm feeling like a fucking hippie, a dirty hippie. I didn't even do that on purpose, but I'm feeling like a fucking hippie. Like, yeah, I'm cool. Everything is cool. I'm the sober driver. And we were standing, and we got spots kind of close up because I think Zeke has a bigger crush on the lead singer of Reckless Kelly than I do. Just kidding. But anyway, so we were standing close up, and there was a group of people who were in front of us, and there were some women or whatever. And the evening went on, and people got drunker and drunker. And so there were two chicks specifically who were like in front of me. And I kept moving to be in a different spot. And you know what I mean? And I was giving myself a little bit of talk, like, you know what, Zube, you used to drink once or twice. And then they started jumping, both of them, like they were just jumping. I'm trying not to make this come off as judgy, but I was starting to not have a good time, you know, because there was one when and I'm not kidding you, was jumping like this right in front of me. Like, not that she was facing me, she just had no spatial idea. She was drunk, that she was right in front of me. And I would try to move back a little bit, move to the side, and she kept following me. It was super weird. Anyway, Zeke turned to me and he was like, yeah, like, are we having a good time or what? And I was like, if these fucking hoes don't stop bumping into me, I'm going to punch somebody. And then Zeke took me by the arms and moved me over to the side. And I laughed. Like, nobody heard me. It was loud. I knew they weren't going to hear me. And then she started jumping in front of me again. And I said, all right, I'm going to go outside for a second and vape. But I laughed. And I'm going to tell you why I found that really, really funny. And the part that I found funny was the part of me laughing. Okay. That was my most authentic self in that moment. Like, I wasn't trying to be spiritual. I wasn't trying to be, no, I was actually, I was trying to be spiritual. And then the universe was like, how about a little dose of the real world? But I laughed because nobody is perfect. You know what I mean? And the spiritual path is not about trying to be perfect, you know? And could I have had a different reaction? Maybe. But that's what was on my heart, man. And I don't know. There's just something that was really holy about the moment that I was laughing at myself, laughing at how seriously I was taking myself and how spiritual I am. And that was more authentic than the person I was trying to be earlier, who was maneuvering around these people. And all I wanted to do was stand and enjoy the music. And that, you know, okay, so I have a very active, busy third house in astrology, which is your mind and all that stuff. So I can, like, I've thought about this in other ways too. There are times where you just can't be out of the way, you know what I mean? And you end up being in the middle, even if you didn't intend to, right? And then you might have like human feelings about that. And that, you know, that's a thing. That's life. That's why we came here. Anyway, so my Venus is getting her ass kicked a little bit today, which is fine, actually. We have the moon going through Pisces, squaring the nodes, and it in opposition to Venus earlier today. So we're, you know, the moon in Pisces can be, it's like trying to catch mist, you know, like there's a dreamy quality to it, but squaring the nodes, it can be confusion about where am I going, where am I coming from? And then also the moon in opposition to Venus is looking at our relationships in that regard, you know. So there could have been, especially this morning, tussles in relationships or friendships and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, sometimes that's going to happen no matter how you place yourself, right? Um, I don't know. And there was just something really ironic about me reading Alan Watts and thinking I was like, I had it all figured out, because Alan Watts' whole fucking point is that you can't figure it all out. And then I had, you know, the situation where I said something rather unkind about some of my fellow human beings, but I was human. And I also, it reminded me as well of, I went to a retreat, a Buddhist retreat one time, and in Mississippi. And one of the monks said something that was really kind of cool. He was like, everybody thinks that it must be really hard for us and stuff like that, but it's actually really hard for you guys, because we get to sit in a temple and meditate, and you have to go out and try to bring these qualities into the real world, and that's not easy. I think he's full of shit, because I really think it would be hard to be a monk. But, you know, I'll take that bit of acknowledgement that it's actually kind of difficult to bring these out into the real world and interact every day with people. Anyway, that's what was on my heart. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And I hope you have a great day on Earth. Peace. Namaste.